I'm Gabriel from Black Force Comics, and this is Black Force Comics Weekly Review, Episode 50. Streamers, balloons, so on and so forth. That's right, boys and girls, boils and ghouls, zits and pimples. It is our 50th episode, and we just want to say thank you so much for joining us on this journey. Go back, look at episode 1 and the train wreck that it was, and look where we are now. It's maybe like a fender bender, not as bad as a train wreck. We're getting better. What do you think? Let us know. All right, so we're going to talk about some comics that came out last week, and then we're going to talk about the comics that are coming out this week, and as well as some geeky news, there's some really exciting things, and we're going to get to that at the very end. So let's get started with last week's comics. First up, Action Comics number 962. In the last issue, we saw Superman and Wonder Woman fighting Doomsday, and Superman telling Wonder Woman to take his son and his wife to the moon, or to the Watchtower base by the moon, and so Wonder Woman did that. They're fighting him. Superman has a plan, ends up fighting Doomsday, getting him back to his fortress, and at the very end, sending him, so he thinks, into the negative zone. So yeah, that was a pretty awesome one. So check that one out. All right, next up, we're going to be quick here, guys, because we got a lot to go through. We missed last week because the week before last because we had some issues with Diamond. So we got last week's order, so we're going with last week's order, and then, yeah. All right, next up, Kingsway West. It's very confusing. Kingsway West, it's a brand new series from Dark Horse. Issue number 1 just came out. It's not really set in the future. It's set in 1837. But in that time frame, there's magic involved. So it's a story of a Oriental fighter who fought for the dynasty, married a Mexican woman, and when they were fighting for a land of America. And so this is what this comic's about. It's about him chasing his wife, getting her back. So it's a really cool story, really cool series. Check that one out. Next up, Invincible, issue number 130. And this just announced, Robert Kirkman was part of the news. So we'll leave it in the news. Keep in mind, Invincible. So in this one, it finds Mark coming back to the present time, seeing all the stuff that Rex has done, and he's trying to convince his dad and everyone else, Rex is not cool. It may seem like he's making this utopian world, but really things aren't going to go well. So he's convinced to Eve that, and so him and Eve are going to leave. So that's issue number 130. Invincible's coming to an end. Check that one out. All right, next up, Harley's Little Black Book, issue number 4. Now, this series doesn't come out as, it's not as predictable with this release date. It's supposed to be monthly, but it's been bi-monthly. It's kind of got an off release date. But this one's a cool one. It's about Harley Quinn teaming up with people, and in this particular issue, she goes to Superman's fortress and get balls from Superman, and uses those balls to travel in time to an alternate reality where she meets her bombshell self. Really cool. Fights Nazis, defeats Hitler. Check that one out. Harley Quinn Little Black Book, issue number 4. All right, next up, Tank Girl, 2 Girls, 1 Tank, issue number 4. Now, this is the finale for this series, and if you've been reading along with that one, it sees the return of Subgirl. Subgirl, of course, drove a submarine, hence the name Subgirl. And yeah, so she's back alive. Her and Tank Girl are having discussions. They're fighting, and then at the very end, Subgirl dies. And they have this whole eulogy thing, and it's pretty sad because they have to see their friend die a second time. So yeah, Tank Girl, 2 Girls, 1 Tank, issue number 4. Check that one out. There's a new series coming up in November as well for Tank Girl. All right. Next up, Valiant Universe Handbook. Now, I really can't tell you what story is in here because it's not a story. This is a handbook of all the characters in the Valiant universe. I love this book, and I think you will love it too. Pick this book up, read it, read the characters of the Valiant universe. I've told y'all before, this is my favorite comic universe. Read it, read those characters, find out why I love it so much, and hopefully you'll fall in love with it as well. All right, next up, Deadpool, issue number 17. And you know how I guys usually feel about Deadpool. So for me to talk about him in one of our episodes, something must have really happened. So he's fighting his mercs for money. They're fighting about, you know, you're not giving us the wages we deserve, all this other stuff. And he's like, fine, we're going to sign a no competition clause. You guys can't compete against me. Our contract's over. And he goes home to Shikala, his wife, and she's sleeping with the Wolfman. He totally blows his head off. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Deadpool's getting upset and crazy. All right, so check that one out. Deadpool issue number 17. Next up, Generation Zero from Valiant. Now, Generation Zero from the early 90s Valiant run was a group of like the young superheroes in the Valiant universe. And they were like these, what they called psionists, where they were trained by the military to do these covert operations. And so they broke out of whatever military compound was holding them, and they're out doing their own thing. So if you ever saw the A-Team, that's kind of like they are, you know, framed for something, you know, trying to get away and taking up these secret missions. So that is Generation Zero. Check them out. Really cool. Next up, International Iron Man, issue number 6. Now, this one isn't necessarily what you would think of the regular Invincible Iron Man run. This International Iron Man is him kind of taking a look back at his history. It's a younger Iron Man. He's remembering what he was, and he's finding out how he got to be who he is. And in this issue, you get to learn the actual secret identity of the identity of his real parents and how they got to know each other, how they fell in love, and birthed Iron Man. So yeah, check that one out. Find out who the real Tony Stark's parents are. Last up, for our kids comic, Squirrel Girl, issue number 001011. And translated into binary, that's issue number, I can't remember. But here's the reason I'm picking it. Because it's Squirrel Girl, number one. Squirrel Girl's always cool. But secondly, she teaches you how to count to 31 with one hand in the comic. It's amazing. And she also teaches you how to count binary. So yeah, it's a pretty cool comic. Always a good lesson in it. She has a horrible dream. This whole comic is just a dream sequence. So check that one out. Good comic, good for kids. Good to learn how to count. So that's last week's comics. There was a lot of comics in there. There's a lot more that I didn't talk about. Really, last week's were really good comics. So yeah, let's talk about what's coming out next week. Or actually, this week. Alright, so next week, or this week, I'm sorry, our last week of August, we're going to have some cool books coming up. It's not a big order this week, but it's still a good order. We have Afterlife with Archie, issue number 10, which has been an interesting series. I don't know if you've been reading it, but this is what happens to Archie after he's dead and he's fighting ghosts as a ghost. Yeah, so he's a ghostbuster. We have the all-new Wolverine annual annual number 1 coming out, and this is the X-23 Wolverine, so this is her first annual as Wolverine, so it'll be cool to see what kind of story they go with that. Also, Vampirella is going to have a one-shot issue coming out called Altered States, so that's a pretty cool series. I've really been enjoying that. Also, Ash from Army of Darkness is also going to have a one-shot issue called Ash for President. That's right, Ash for President, a one-shot. So be sure to pick that one up. It's going to be entertaining, him fighting Deadites while running for Congress. It's going to be amazing. All right, also, Bloodshot Reborn, issue number 16. Told you before, I'm a big Valiant fan, so I'm really looking forward to that one. Brickleberry, issue number 2 of 4, so that's, halfway through. So check that one out. Deadpool versus Gambit, issue number 4 of 5, so we're just about wrapping that one up. Also, we're going to have Harley Quinn and her Gang of Harleys, issue number 5 of 6, so we're also getting close to the end on that one, so be sure to pick up on that one. Jim and the Holograms, issue number 18. Also from Coffin House Comics, La Muerta Last Rites, issue number 1 is coming out. Another Brian Pulido special, so check that one out. It's going to be pretty cool. Also, we have Micronauts, issue number 5, which Micronauts is an old series brought back, so it's really cool. I've been reading that by IDW, so check that one out. They're also going to have a cool number of comics coming out. There are a whole bunch of crossover comics such as ROM, Transformers, G.I. Joe, Masked, the old cartoon that had the guys that got into the vehicles and they changed into flying vehicles and fighting vehicles. Not Transformers, but they changed into special op vehicles. So check that one out. And Mask is going to come up as well. Mighty Morphin's Power Rangers, issue number 6 is coming out for all you Mighty Morphin fans. Predator versus Judge Dredd versus Aliens, issue number 2 is coming out. Rocket Raccoon and Groot issue number 8, as well as Sonic Universe issue number 89. Spider-Gwen issue number 11 is coming up. Suicide Squad War Crimes, which is more of a book than anything else. Here's a cool one that's coming up. It's a work by by Kevin Eastman. It's TMNT Universe, just starting up, issue number 1. Be sure to jump on that. It's supposed to have that old, like the cartoon classic style, bringing back the old school Turtles. That's what this one is, but all new stories. So that's TMNT Universe. Check that one out. It's going to be pretty awesome. Vamp Blade, issue number 7. Vikings, issue number 4. If you are a fan of the Vikings TV show and you're missing it and you want to get your fix, pick up the Vikings comic. So that one's pretty awesome. And then finally, Exo Man of War, issue number 49 is coming up. And that one's also going to be coming to an end here soon. So be sure to check that one out. All right, so that's this coming week's comics. Let's talk about some news. Okay, so for the news, there's quite a few things we want to get through. First off, just happened recently, Gene Wilder passed away. Gene Wilder of Saturday Night Live fame, as well as the original chocolatier, Willy Wonka. Gene Wilder did pass away, so we are sending our condolences and thoughts and prayers to the family. All right, secondly, a lot of stuff going on. Ninjak is apparently getting closer and closer to actually coming into production as a movie. Ninjak is the ninja secret operative of the Valiant universe. Talking a lot about Valiant in this video. I like Valiant. I'm sorry. You should like it too. So yeah, that's pretty cool that they're making a movie. There was a lot of talk about whether it's going to be Ninjak or if it was going to be Bloodshot, but they were going to start the movie on. Either way, you could tie it into the Harbingers and just blow up the movies from there. So it's a chance to really expand on that whole universe. Thirdly, Build-A-Bear. How many of you have been to Build-A-Bear? I got 3 kids. I've been to Build-A-Bear. The Pokemon Eevee is going to be soon at your local Build-A-Bear. So get you to Build-A-Bear, get you an Eevee, put some little pants on it, put a little shirt on it, and dress up your little Eevee. All right? So do that at Build-A-Bear soon. Not yet. Soon. The man we know as Bruce Wayne, not as Daredevil. We're not going to talk about that anymore. But the guy who is now Bruce Wayne, Batman, I can't even remember his real name because to me he is now Batman and Bruce Wayne. He just released on his... Ben Affleck. He just released on his Facebook page a clip of Deathstroke from the Justice League movie that's coming out. It's just maybe 17-second clip. It's no audible words and sound, anything at all. It's just him walking up, showing off the full costume, looking like that. So you can see the mask and his clothes on one side and got the one eye on the other. It looks amazing. Hopefully whoever the actor is really pulls it off well because it's Slade Wilson, man. Don't mess it up. Really excited about the way it looks, so let's just go with that. Also, I look a little bit disheveled today. I didn't have enough time to go home and shower before we filmed. I was up helping a friend paint this morning at their booth at a local flea market. So if you're in the San Antonio area, head over to Buzzy's Flea Market. He's got booth number P63. He's a good friend of ours. He sells a lot of old school comics there, as well as some magic novelty tricks. Kind of the same tricks, the novelty gags that we have here in the shop. He sells them there as well. Just a lot of cool stuff. Really amazing guy named David. So P63, little plug for him. Go check out his booth there at Buzzy's Flea Market. Also a plug for Buzzy's as well. So yeah, that's why I got paint and crazy hair, and I'm sorry you have to see this. Be glad you don't have to smell me right now. Also, Archie Comics, in this issue that just came out this past Wednesday, I believe it was issue number maybe 7 or 8. You know how they always say at the very end, to be continued, the end, or something like that. This one, it said to be concluded. Now, I don't know if that means the Archie comics are coming to an end or not, but I really hope not. The Archie comics have been really great, really entertaining. I wanted to talk about it in this week's, but you saw we went through 10 comics, didn't have time for it. So Archie comics might be coming to an end. For sure, we know that Robert Kirkman confirmed in an interview that he will be ending his run of Invincible. Invincible has been a really great superhero story. If you're tired of the normal superheroes and all their frailties, read Invincible. It will make you look at superheroes in an all new way. The way that Grant Morrison wants you to view superheroes is the way that Robert Kirkman portrays superheroes. So please check that out. Invincible, the comic book series, really good. It's coming to an end. So yeah, that will conclude the news for this week. Let us know what you're reading. Let us know what you want us to talk about, and we'll see you next week.
Make a wish. Count to 3. Come with me, and you'll be in a world of pure imagination.
News. That's none of your business. Hotter than Satan's toenails up in here.